heartfelt namaste. I, Anuradha, would like to thank all of you for liking and sharing, subscribing to our YouTube and our Spotify channels. Today, we are going to continue on with Bhrigu Bindu. Bhrigu Bindu, as I explained earlier, is a point in the chart which says or which shows the unconscious flow of a life and the direction that it takes for us to reach a certain goal. So Bhrigu Bindu is important. You think about a thing, you manifest that in your life. In which nakshatra it happens is equally important. And as per my observations, there's certain things that you're likely to follow when your Bhrigu Bindu is placed in a certain nakshatra. We would be talking and expanding on all the 24 nakshatras and the Bhrigu Bindu with it. But before I move on to the nakshatras and the Bhrigu Bindu placed in it, I'd definitely like to state a point. If somebody has their Adra in the 5th house and the Bhrigu Bindu in Adra in the 5th house, and somebody has their Adra in Bhrigu Bindu with their Bhrigu Bindu in it in the 6th house, there's a lot of difference. See, we will have to also learn to modulate or read the chart, read the Bhrigu Bindu in a particular nakshatra with respect to the house also. So having said that, let me start off with Bhrigu Bindu in the different nakshatras, the direction that of our thoughts, of our life, and the way we manifest it. When the Bhrigu Bindu for us is in Ashwini nakshatra, we tend to be working for things, we tend to be moving into an areas or doing things that would likely to bring us a lot of success in life, and we are attracted to help others, we are attracted to words, name, and fame. When Bhrigu Bindu is in Bharini Nakshatra, that is the area where a person must learn to be equipped for all kind of changes in life. Person would tend to be doing work which is very serious kind of a work, and yet maintain their sense of judiciousness. When somebody has their Bhrigu Bindu in Kritika Nakshatra, such a person is a bold person. Such a person does not have a problem in doing things for others as long as those things do not fall back on you or those things do not hurt yourself, right? And you're likely, say supposing somebody has this Kritika Nakshatra in their 6th house, you're likely to do a lot of service for others. You're likely to be a leader at your workplace, but as long as people don't step on your tail. Somebody has their Bhrigu Bindu in Rohini Nakshatra. So it can give you a love for cars, especially if it's in your 4th house, then definitely a lot of love for cars. If it is there in your 7th house, this Bhrigu Bindu in Rohini Nakshatra, you're quite attached to your spouse, and your work would also form around that area. You could be partners with your spouse. When somebody has their Bhrigu Bindu in Mriksara Nakshatra, especially related to the 12th house, research and development, spirituality becomes very important in your life. On the other hand, if it's in the 7th house, you're forever looking for a good job that will give you place. Greener pastures become the call of the day. When somebody has their Bhrigu Bindu in Adra Nakshatra, then a person is always striving to attain a lot in life. The person is striving to establish themselves and doesn't care when anybody is against them. Moreover, they have the ability to give back good to those very people who are against them, whoever it may be. So if it is there in your 3rd house and the Bhrigu Bindu falls in the 3rd house in Adra Nakshatra, these people have a whiplash kind of a tongue, and that at times can be little detrimental for them. So they should be aware of that. On the other hand, if it's in the 9th house, it shows you sticking up for protocols. It shows you being a warrior who wants to take up challenges, come clean, and you want a lot of public appreciation for that work. When we talk about Bhrigu Bindu in Punarvasu Nakshatra, when the Bhrigu Bindu is in Punarvasu Nakshatra, you will always feel, or you will always see, that you would need to do your work repeatedly before you attain success. So if it's in the 10th house, a job that you've taken, any work that has, any project that has fallen in your lap, and you would be continuously working, you would be a workaholic. So you would need to work double extra hard, but the results would also be extra when you finally submit the project. We talk about Bhrigu Bindu in Pushya Nakshatra. When somebody has their Bhrigu Bindu in Pushya Nakshatra, such person is very focused in their work, especially if it's in the 10th house, if it's in the 6th house or the 2nd house. Such people will also be politically correct. So if it's in your 2nd house, you will be politically correct at home or in areas where you can gain wealth. If on the other hand, if it's in the 3rd house, so wherever you stand to speak on a platform, you will realize that, yes, I will have to weigh my words properly and speak. Otherwise, I can be at a loss. This is how you have to connect the Bhrigu Bindu Nakshatra and the houses. When we talk about Aslesha and Bhrigu Bindu in Aslesha, if it's in the 6th house, you can have enemies and you will be waiting for the right opportunity to strike at your enemy. At the same time, if it is in your 12th house, you would be giving a lot into charity. However, you would not be very open to it. And if you're not giving into charity, it's very important that you do so that you can let go of your karma from some past lifetime. If this Bhrigu Bindu is in the 8th house in Ashlesha Nakshatra, it would advise you to, it would take your life towards passion. It could also take your life towards devotion. It is upon you where you want to move. We move to the 2nd cycle of the nakshatras, where if the Bhrigu Bindu is in Magha Nakshatra, one strives for excellence and responsibility in whatever they do. So if it's related to your 11th house, then as you would want to be a part of a youth circle, you would want to be part of a big MNC, and whatever work that you do, you would want it to be very good, very beautifully presented, in fact, to the point of being ostentatious. Or you could also want a good income. You could be striving towards getting the lion's share in the income that comes in. When we talk about Purva Falguni, and we see Purva Falguni as the nakshatra with Bhrigu Bindu in it, so one could be doing a lot of work, and that work could be related to making lots of money. It could be related to having one of the best kind of a job work, but you would be making this money, working hard for it, so that you can party hard also, enjoy beautifully also. So if this happens to be in the 5th house, one really would be spending a lot, earning a lot, and will be enjoying a lot. If it happens in the 12th house, you would be earning from foreign shores, good from foreign shores, and at the same time spending a lot in those very countries too. We come to Uttar Falguni. Uttar Falguni is a nakshatra wherein we see there is a lot of protocol, there's a lot of hard work, and there's also a lot of stickler for the rights and the wrongs, what is the duty. So if a person has a Bhrigu Bindu here, they would strive to do things which are correct, strive to maintain a balance between the call of the day and what has been traditionally approved. So these people, if it happens to you in your 10th house, you're likely to exercise this at your workplace. At the same time, if it happens to be in the 4th house for you, then you would like to exercise these very issues, these very things in your, not just your family life, but also about what you need to do for secure your family members. You would never do things that are unethical. You would never want to collect wealth the unethical manner. You would never want to have any kind of land which is unethical, a family that has values in wrong places. So this is what Uttar Phalguni can give you with its kind of position. When we talk about Hasta Nakshatra, Hasta is the hand. And when I see people having their Bhrigu Bindu in Hasta Nakshatra, I understand that these people are very prone to doing work on their own. They would like to do things on their own. If it is in your eighth house, you would want to do things for your family members and for your uh, in-laws with your own hands. If it is in your 10th house, then you are not very good at delegating authorities to others. You want to do it by your own self. On the other hand, if the Bhrigu Bindu for you is in Chitra Nakshatra, then you are one of those people who are very independent, and it will follow through with the Adra Nakshatra also. But you're one of those people who don't like to be bossed around. If it happens to be in your 8th house, you don't want to be bossed around by your in-laws. On the other hand, if it is in your 7th house, you take great exception to be bossed around by your spouse. In your 3rd house, your siblings should know how to maintain their distance, and what you want to do is prove yourself and get to your siblings or your spouse or your spouse's family, as the case may be, and your life can take a movement in that direction with whatever transpires. In Swati Nakshatra, if the Bhrigu Bindu is placed for you, then you strive to take control of your life. You strive to grow, and you want to grow as big as the oak tree, whom no one can uproot. And over a period of time, you will have the ability, you will have the flow, and life will show up many instances where you actually would be able to grow fast, you would be able to grow great. So that is where, with that intensity in mind, if you move up, then you are likely to go places. Let's talk about the Bhrigu Bindu in Vishakha Nakshatra. Vishakha Nakshatra has a lot of energy. So if your Bhrigu Bindu is placed there, you're forever in a movement, and you're forever trying to find a lot of work to do, trying to gain a lot of excellence, trying to conquer a lot of territories. One thing you must be aware of, that you need to center yourself. You need to sit down for some time. Though your mind is constantly churning, you need to sit down, you need to focus, and then move ahead. It will help you conquer territories at a greater speed, and you will be able to make life easier. Anuradha Nakshatra, the nakshatra that leads you down the other path. So yes, Anuradha, people who have the Bhrigu Bindu in Anuradha Nakshatra move towards devotion, move towards sexuality in a different manner also. And people who have their Bhrigu Bindu in this nakshatra also will be able to find many pathways different from others, and yet each pathway will lead them to a more beautiful, scenic area in life, which would be great for them. And they tend to enjoy each and every moment, each and every different pathway that they take. It's just that they need to understand that there are way too many pathways opening us for us in life. What are the ones that we can actually walk down, and what are the ones that we have to let go of? They're just as much and many things that we can do or say. And however hampering it may sound, but that's the truth of life. People who have their Bhrigu Bindu in Jyeshta Nakshatra, calling it supreme is what they want to be. They are very competitive in their spirits, and they have it in them that they want to be the best. They have to move down the path of excellence. In that, they're likely to make a lot of mistakes. In that, they're likely to create a mayhem for themselves and have to repent for it at a later date. So the suggestion is, yes, set your goals high, but stay focused and understand the pitfalls that you see in life, so that you don't have to pay that much at the end of the day. We move on to Mula. When the Bhrigu Bindu is in Mula, we would see that the person would want to get to the root of the things. People, if it is for us, if it's in the Lagna, so this person wants to experiment about himself. This person wants to see who I am. It will take you towards spirituality. On the other hand, if this Bhrigu Bindu happens to be in your 8th house in Mula, you could have a perverted attitude towards life. Are we ready for that? Is the question that one needs to go. And you could follow that attitude. You could have a long-term illnesses with that also. So that is something one needs to understand. At the same time, if the Bhrigu Bindu for somebody is in Mula in the 5th house, one could be taken in for espionage. You know, the person can become a great detective, can do crisis management very easily undetected, and they become good spies. And their attitude towards life, their way of thinking is find out what is most important and strike there. That is the basic attitude that they have in life, and life flows through those areas. When we talk about Bhrigu Bindu in Purv Ashada Nakshatra, that is a place where you would be forced to move into an area where you could be a healing kind of a person. If it is there in your 2nd house, you would be prone to listening to what people have to say and then give advice so that they are happy. And you can take up counseling also as a method of earning. When this Bhrigu Bindu for you is in the 9th house, it could also take you, again, as I said, towards counseling, towards listening to what others have to say, cleansing others of their problems. And it could also take you to journeys where you unravel the truth, where you meet with many other people and you understand what true self is all about. So when we move on to the next nakshatra of Uttara Ashada, if your Bhrigu Bindu is placed in the nakshatra of Uttara Ashada, you get a lot, your mind is kind of fixed. Yes, this is what I feel is correct. This is what I have to do. And look no further. You would not really want to understand that there can be another way, because your way could be correct. And most of the times it is correct. But then we should be able to read what others have to say. So this is a place where we have to take a call. In the 10th house, because it's also the part of the nakshatras of the 10th house of the natural zodiac, it will make you adamant in your workplace. It will make you very fixed about your ideas of what you think is correct in your karmic journey, and you would want to finish off with those things only. On the other hand, if it is in your 3rd house, you would be unafraid, unapologetic when you want to talk, because you would stand by the truth. I speak the truth and nothing else would become your attitude. In the 12th house, you would be able to let go of those things, those people who do not stand by your ideologies and will not make any compensations on those grounds. Let's talk about the Bhrigu Bindu when we're talking about Shravan Nakshatra. Shravan Nakshatra is the nakshatra of money. It's the nakshatra of administration. So if you are likely to take up a job, you're likely to move into those areas where you will find pots and pots of money, and you will be good at administrative abilities. Those are the things that would attract you. Even if it is just in your 4th house, in your home and in your place, you would want to administer things, you would want to put things in a manner that even in the smallest of the occasions, you are able to smoothly work through things in your homes. Things have to be very streamlined. Things have to be very very much in place for you. So if it is again in your 6th house, in your workplace, you want things to be the wheels to be very well oiled, so that there are not much glitches anywhere. At the same time, if it's in your 11th house, any organization that you join, any place that you put in your money, any shares that you acquire, has to be such that you don't have to look too much into it, and the income that it comes from it should be good. So that is your thought process, and this is the way you will work. You will be investing in those kind of areas. That is also you would at home, you will, whenever things go haywire, you would try to put them, if it's in your 4th house, in such a streamlined manner that the next time such an occasion does not arise. We talk about the Dhanishta Nakshatra. Uh, it's a nakshatra that talks about being on time. It's a nakshatra which talks about expansion. It's a nakshatra that talks about responsibilities. It's so everything has to be, whenever you have a Bhrigu Bindu here, you talk about expansion. You see, understand your duties. You want to bring about an expansion in those areas of life. And you want, say if it's in your third house, so you understand your responsibilities towards your siblings. You understand that you are courageous enough to take certain steps in life that will make you more responsible, that will also earn you a good way of earn you a place as a leader, and will earn you a place as a thinker. On the other hand, if it is for you in the eighth house, it's the individualistic attitude does not exist anymore. It is a responsibility towards home, towards money, towards elders in general. And it is also the responsibility of your spouse money that you would be taking up. And that is the way your life moves in that direction. When we move on to the Sadhish Nakshatra, Shadish is a nakshatra which talks about protocol. It is a nakshatra which gives us a lot of it gives us a lot of ability to be judicious. It is very punctual as a nakshatra, and it also talks about resourcefulness. So you in life would strive to be all that. You will come across situations where you have to be resourceful. In the fifth house for somebody, it shows, or in the seventh house, you're good at crisis management. Somebody can always depend on you because you know how to find things for people, you know how to help people out. But at the same time, you would want your share back, and you would want people to be responsible for what you gave them, and you would want them to be very careful in handling of things also. So you would come across situations where you would learn this, and where you can impart this knowledge to others. Money becomes easy, money becomes good, and you become very important in the life of others. As we come to the last three nakshatras, that is the Purva Bhadra, the Uttara Bhadra, and Revati. For the Purva Bhadra nakshatra, it is a place where in life you will be always feeling as if you are under a lot of stress, you are under a lot of pressure from others, and you have to work according to those pressures, irrespective of your want or not, irrespective whether you desire to do it in that manner. Remember, you're capable of it, you can do it. So you need to be focused on that, and life will take you to do things which, whether you want them or not. When we talk about Uttarashara, Uttara Bhadra, I'm very happy here to talk about Uttara Bhadra, because this is a nakshatra which tells us that yes, stay calm, you can achieve. And the person has an innate knowledge. The person would be able to move into situations where the person would be able to guide the situation as per their need and their demands. That is an opportunity very few people can have. But this comes after a lot of turmoil. The person would have gone through an area of turmoil and finally come to a state of calmness. So if it is there in your uh, sixth house, then yes, at workplace you might have had to face the stick many a times, or you might have to had to face the boss's wrath, but you will come to eventually a place of being the boss, and you will be calm and content about it. So one needs to have that confidence that yes, I'm good, I will be able to do it. And if it is placed for you in the 12th house, it's most likely that having experienced a lot of beautiful moments in life, you just say, I need to let go and I need to take some time off. And your life would be all about being happy, not being very concerned about many things, and letting go, just being happy with who you are. And such people are very difficult to find. So you are one of the lucky ones. If you have your Uttar Bhadra Nakshatra in the Lagna itself, then you're one person who is a force to reckon with, because you're strong, you are sageous, you are focused, and you know who you are very clearly, and you know what kind of life you expect out of yourself. So the life flows for you in that very direction. Last but not the least, Revati. When people have their Bhrigu Bindu in Revati, the need to guide others, the need to be friendly with others, the need to show people the way, the need to be a good teacher becomes paramount for people. If you have it in your 10th house, you are a professional teacher, counselor, or a person who's a good tourist guide, can run a company which has an international tour and travel kind of a thing. If it's there in your 9th house, you can become a guru, because that's where life flows for you, consciously or unconsciously. So we can understand that with the different nakshatras, giving the combination permutation of houses, there are a lot of things that the Bhrigu Bindu can tell you, and from your chart you would understand where life is flowing for you. You need to be conscious about that and decide that, is this the area that I want life really to flow? Because once you've done that, life becomes smooth in spite of all the trouble, and the troubles that we think are there or we feel that are actually there would kind of start to iron themselves out. Do write into us how you found this video. Let us know and please do share your comments and your suggestions. Till we meet with you again, stay safe.
Please hit the bell icon for fresh updates. Don't forget to like, share and comment on the videos, and please subscribe to our channel.